What is up, everybody? You are checking out the World of WWE podcast. I am your host, Ant, and I am flying solo for these couple of episodes. We are a couple of episodes behind on Raw and SmackDown, so this is just a quick recap of the couple of Raws that we have missed, and we will be having our Royal Rumble prediction episode dropping as soon as possible, with the Royal Rumble being Saturday, January 29th. That is tomorrow. So be prepared for that. So we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from Tulsa, Oklahoma, January 17th, 2022. That's 2 weeks ago. And it was a Raw that it was okay. So let me just start right into it. So the Raw Women's Champion, Big Time Becky Lynch, comes down to the ring, and she says that she makes stars out of people and that she's given Doudrop her biggest opportunity, and Becky is the reason for Doudrop's title opportunity. Becky claims that she makes people better and then she beats them. And then she trashes Doudrop a bit more until Doudrop actually comes down, and Doudrop says, let me tell you something, Becky. She got herself into this title match. If it was Becky's plan to fight Doudrop, it was her biggest mistake. And then Becky tells Doudrop to, follow her lead tonight, and Becky will get the win between their match. And then both Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan come down and announce that they will be in the Royal Rumble match. So the quick question that I have is Doudrop the right opponent for Becky? And we will talk about that question once we finish the match. So, again, we have the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Doudrop taking on Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. And it was a really good match. All four women looked great, but the end came after Becky Lynch landed a manhandle slam on Liv, but then Doudrop broke up the pin, made the tag, and landed a splash on Liv Morgan to get the win. And then to add insult to injury, Doudrop landed a bonsai drop on Becky Lynch. And it's funny because in my notes I wrote the Rikishi splash, but so Doudrop definitely laying out the Raw Women's Champion. And so the question I posed is Doudrop a right opponent for Becky? And I think so. I think that it's going to be interesting to see these two go at it because they haven't ever fought in WWE. Both of them did grow up, not too far away. Ireland and Scotland aren't far away from each other, and they've always, wanted to go at it, but they never had an opportunity to. So the Royal Rumble, they're going to. And I think this is going to be an interesting match because Doudrop might be trying to show off some of her stuff. Becky Lynch will be as well. So the Royal Rumble is sort of the highway to WrestleMania. I think this is a good match to sort of lead on to that road. Next, Edge and Beth Phoenix are backstage, and they talk to Damian Priest. And we find out that Maryse wants Beth Phoenix to come face her in the ring tonight, woman to woman. Kevin Owens shows up and trashes Damian Priest, and he asks Damian if they can have a clean match. And Damian's like, we'll see. Okay, we then have the Kevin Owens show with Seth Rollins. Well, Seth frickin' Rollins. And he goes, this is my best friend, Seth frickin' Rollins. Seth says that Roman Reigns is scared of him. The Usos couldn't get the job done on SmackDown. And Seth says he's going to bring the Universal title home to Raw. And then he says maybe with the Universal title being on Raw that he'll get rid of Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar. And then Kevin Owens says he has a huge announcement, and he basically builds himself up, puts himself over, and says he will be in the Royal Rumble match. After that, Damian Priest comes down, and he tells Seth Rollins that no one thinks you will beat Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, and he calls Kevin Owens a liar. So the question that I had was, how long will the friendship between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins last? I'm hoping it lasts for a little bit longer. I'm thinking by WrestleMania, it might implode. I'm hoping not. I hope that they don't do a rematch between the two of them. They did fight at WrestleMania 2 years ago, so I'm hoping they don't do that again. But I do like this friendship. It's funny between Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is great at what he does, and it's great to see the pair. But I do think it's going to last for a little bit longer, and that will be good. So moving on to the match. It was a decent match, and really not a lot happened in this one. We did see KO landing a frog splash off the apron onto Damian Priest. We saw a broken arrow by Damian Priest into a 2 count. Kevin landed a swanton and then a pop-up power bomb, and KO says that his knee is hurting him, and then he nails a stunner to get the cheap win on Damian Priest. And the question I had with this match was, should Kevin Owens be champion in 2022? And I definitely think he should. I don't know what title. I'd like to maybe see him as Intercontinental Champion again, maybe U.S. Champion, even a WWE Champion or Universal Champion would be good. He's just so great at what he does, and he needs to be showcased a bit more. So, yes, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Kevin Owens. Then go backstage, and Nikki, almost a hero, almost a superhero, says that Rhea Ripley is the villain. She's the people's hero. And heroes do things that normal people cannot understand. And Rhea Ripley will see that Rhea needs a hero, whether she wants one or not. We then go to the Alpha Academy graduation ceremony. And Chad Gable says it's time to celebrate his long list of accomplishments. And last week, Otis claimed his rightful spot as tag team champions. It is Chad's honor to present to you. And he gives Otis his diploma. Otis says to expect pure destruction. That's when Riddle comes down in a cap and a gown. And Riddle wants to make a special speech. He is proud of them. And Riddle says a rematch is lighting something up again. And then Chad, referencing Pot. Chad Gable asks where Randy Orton is, and then he challenges RK Bro to an academic decathlon. And then Riddle says, oh, kind of like Billy Madison, which if you are a fan of Adam Sandler, you definitely know what that movie is. Definitely check it out if you don't know it. It's really funny. Riddle calls Otis a hamster, and then Otis leaves the ring, and Randy surprises Chad Gable and nails an RKO. And then Riddle knees Otis outside of the ring, and then they put on the caps and gowns, and Randy accepts the academic decathlon. So do we feel like the Alpha Academy is serious or silly? My opinion, I think they're being a little bit, they're serious, but I feel like these decathlons are going to be a little bit silly going forward. But I do like Alpha Academy as tag team champions because it's something different. Okay, moving right along. Vince McMahon is now backstage with Austin Theory, and he wants Austin to win and beat up Finn Balor. If he doesn't, then Vince is going to beat up Austin Theory himself. And then he says he's going to basically leave Austin bloody and broken. And then he'll take a picture of it and send it to Austin's mom. And the question is, what is up with Vince and Austin Theory? I don't know. I don't understand this whole thing. I know that Vince is trying to skyrocket Austin Theory, but Vince doesn't need to be there for Austin Theory to do, as good as he can. So I don't know what's going to happen here. But up next, we have Finn Balor versus Austin Theory, and it was a good match. Austin Theory hit a cool drop kick and an ATL to get the win. It wasn't a really long match. After the match, Austin Theory took a picture with Finn Balor, then he attacked Finn and nailed a second ATL, leaving Finn Balor out cold. Next, we have Rhea Ripley versus Nikki, almost a superhero. Before the match can start, the women's tag team champions Queen Zelina and Carmella came down to the ring. And Queen Zelina says she's Rhea Ripley's fairy godmother. They got rid of Nikki for her, and the Queen Zelina says, you're either the most powerful woman in the world or you're nothing, and I'm queen. And before the match can start, Nikki attacks Rhea Ripley, sending her into the steps, and then walks off. So just a quick thing, Queen Zelina, I love you. You are my favorite. I hope you're listening. If you're not, that's okay. I still love you. But yes, keep it moving, keep it classy, and keep it Queen Zelina. So yes, I love you. Keep it moving. Doing good. And then the question was, will Nikki be the winner in this feud? I think so. I think if Nikki doesn't win, then her whole entire character, gimmick, and just wrestling, the way WWE views her will be really bad. Rhea Ripley is great, but Nikki needs to get some kind of win. She's been losing since like SummerSlam last August. Okay, moving right along. Omos taking on Reggie. Pretty much a 24/7 challengers. All of them come running down and they try to distract Omos, but Omos chokeslams Reggie and gets the quick win. and I don't really care about this one. Next, Maryse, she comes down to the ring and she wants to clean up the Miz's mess, she says. She wants to talk mother to mother with Beth Phoenix. And Beth comes out and she thanks Beth for her time. She wants the match at the Royal Rumble canceled. Maryse says these fans don't want this match. Women main event WrestleMania because of what they did. Maryse and Beth Phoenix. And Maryse thinks that they shouldn't be fighting. They should be best friends on the same team. Beth then asks Maryse to shut up. You take acting lessons from your husband. Our match is not off. And then she goes, I'm not missing glam slamming you. And she goes, and to be honest, let's do it tonight. And then The Miz attacks Edge. And as Beth is watching, Maryse nails Beth Phoenix with her purse. After Beth is laid out, Maryse and Miz walk up the ramp, and Maryse reveals that inside her purse she had a brick. So I'm very excited to see Maryse taking over Beth Phoenix, because I knew she was going to do it, because in my eyes, Maryse is better than Beth Phoenix. She's a great wrestler, Beth, and she is a Hall of Famer for sure, but Maryse is my favorite, and I am excited to see her compete again at the Royal Rumble, and I'm totally rooting for her, and Beth totally deserved it. Beth, all she does is talk trash, goes after Maryse, and Maryse finally shut her up. All right, moving along. Now we have a special match. We have the Dirty Dogs, Apollo Crews, and Commander Aziz taking on the Street Profits and the Mysterios. And again, this was a really long match. Mysterios hit a double 619 to the Dirty Dogs, and Montez Ford lands a huge frog splash on Apollo Crews to get the win for his team. After the match, the Street Profits tried to toss out Rey Mysterio, but he ends up tossing all the men out, and Rey Mysterio prospers. All right. My question regarding that is, where Rey Mysterio's chances in the Royal Rumble? I do think he has a pretty decent amount of chance in the Royal Rumble, as long as he, with him being in WWE 2K22, the cover star, I think that means something. I do think he will do pretty decently in the Royal Rumble match itself. Okay. And then we see the doctor segment with Alexa Bliss, and he asks Alexa Bliss, words, and every answer is Lily until he says imaginary, and then Bliss just looks on. So, again, there's not really a lot of answers here between these two, but Alexa Bliss is still fully in this weird Lily character, and we'll have to see when she debuts back on Raw. All right, we're at main event time. Seth frickin' Rollins taking on Bobby Lashley with MVP. This is a really good match. There is a moment where Seth applied a one-legged Boston Crab. Bobby Lashley has a huge flat line and a super top rope belly to belly to Seth Rollins. But before the match can end, the former Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin attack Bobby Lashley, causing a DQ. And after the match, they send Bobby into the post, but Bobby is able to nail a double suplex outside. And Bobby ends up running Cedric's head against the post and spears Shelton Benjamin through the barricade. And then, as that's going on inside the ring, the Usos show up and they land a double super kick to Seth Rollins to close the show. So a lot to unpack here. The Hurt Business, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know why they would even want to team up with Bobby Lashley. Again, I know that they haven't been on Raw recently, and I get maybe his star power will help them. But that whole rivalry needs to end, in my opinion. And then, with the Usos attacking Seth frickin' Rollins, Seth frickin' Rollins outsmarted the Usos the past week on SmackDown, so obviously the Usos were gunning for some vengeance. Will Seth Rollins be able to outsmart Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble? I think so. And I think that, I don't know who's going to win, but I do think that Roman Reigns is in for a fight. He's in for a battle. I'm excited to see who gets the upper hand. So this Raw was sort of still on the path to the Royal Rumble. some decent stuff happened here tonight. The moment for me of the night was when Maryse nailed Beth Phoenix with the brick because she totally deserved it. I was happy to see that. But that is all for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Before we go, I want to leave it a quick advertisement and we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. Yes, definitely be sure to check us out on Anchor. It is a cool site that allows you to create podcasts and they can be streamed anywhere. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and wherever podcasts are streaming. Just make sure you subscribe and you like us so that whenever new episode and content comes out, you're able to see it. Also, be sure to check us out on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and the subscribe button. When you do all of that, you get notified when new content is created as well, and that's a good source too for everything. So we're on the road to Royal Rumble. I'm excited. Be well, be safe, and we will see you soon.